Well, we're back over here at Cheryl's again. And she's still giggling. So what we did was we actually replaced this piece. We realized afterward this stuff is oriented a certain way. This is a factory cut, and if you put this thick end next to it, which is what we did, didn't even notice it. I haven't run this beadboard in forever, and it doesn't look right. These beads don't line up. So we ended up taking this piece back out and putting that one in, and it looks a lot better. And we decided to go ahead and just completely enclose that corner. It just looked nicer to bring it on up. So we got the beadboard on there, and now we're ready to do the drywall on the ceiling through a couple of cripplers or nailers up there. And then actually she's got going over top of that drywall is these squares that look like a tray ceiling or tile, I guess, ceiling. Anyway, what we're going to do to separate, because we don't have enough of those to go any further than right here. So we're going to take like a 1x6 and nail it and kind of come down, and then the shower curtain will be kind of tucked behind it. You won't see it. And the reason I scabbed that out extra is because over there, the floor joist comes across over top of the beam. And I don't want to cut that for structure. So this will work out okay. It'll be a little close to the fan, but I think that'll work out okay. So I got the drywall cut, ready to put that up. The one thing I've got to say, I really do kind of like this Hitachi. I got it on clearance, real cheap. I think it was at Lowe's, but at any rate, that works so nice, especially for a ceiling. I do have the cordless that DeWalt makes that they make an attachment for, but I mean, it's just a cordless that you set a screw in and it'll take it to the right depth. But it would probably be nicer if I had the attachment. The only drawback of this is you got to buy the specific nails for it, or screws, I mean. But other than that, I like it. We got a new addition at Cheryl's. What do we name it? Leave a comment below. We're trying to come up with names. All right, got a couple pieces up. I got to send Cheryl to the store. We got to go get a piece to separate this two areas here, like I was saying, and get that up. But while I'm waiting for her, going ahead and getting ready for cement board. We got the cement board out here, and this blade here, it's so bright out. Anyway, this is for cutting cement board, but that's the blade to go with. I mean, you still make a lot of dust, but it cuts sweet. So I got to find somewhere where there's electric. Always the challenge around here. So you ever go to put something up and then you find out you hit the screw below? So I marked all these where the screws are going to go holding that on there. And that way whenever I put my screws in the cement board, when I put them in the cement board, I won't land in the wrong spot. So I can put a screw here, as long as I don't put them on the lines. Just another little trick. Well, it doesn't seem like we get much done because unfortunately Cheryl and I suffer from the same thing. Gift of gab. So we end up talking, and also we start brainstorming some stuff, and it takes time. Got all the custom stuff, but I got all the cement board in, got the niche put in, got that little divider board so that she can have her curtain rod right on the inside of it, kind of have a little divider between there. And I'm not sure what I'm going to trim. I might just put trim down there. I mean, this is all getting tile, and I may have to just put a little piece of cement board and tile down around that. I'm kind of undecided yet, but the rest of that'll be tile. And but I got all that bead board up for that part I boxed in. How you like all this makeshift stuff with the screws all along the top and down the side, but I glued that right to the concrete. And so the only way I already cut this out, and I'm like, then later I'm like, hey, I could have just screwed right through here. That would have been smarter. Like I did that here, and I'm like, okay, well then we'll just put a 2x4 in. So now it's all jammed tight up against the wall. Let that stuff set up, And whenever I come back, I'll have all the little corner trim pieces to put in. Like I'll rip one bys and put around here and around here, and get some tile going. And so I think now maybe things will move a little quicker. I hope. Maybe it'll be less fussy. You're like, yeah, but you never know what Cheryl's going to make us do. All right, until next time. Well, we're all loaded down with all our tile stuff. So where are we at today, Joseph?
Right, your favorite customer's house, Cheryl. Doing some tiling.
This ought to be good. Okay, so the first thing we do, we get with the customer, I'm just using these right now just to get spacing. I had the 1/8 in here. You can see that's just too tight. But she really liked these purple sides right here. Fortunately for that, I have for these long tiles. It makes it a whole lot easier to make a couple of different styles. Lowe's carries these. You embed that right into your mortar, and then when you lay your tile here and here, you've got a basket that goes on there, and they've got a tool to tighten that down, and it pinches the tiles so that they lay flat. With those longer tiles, sometimes if you try to just do it freehand, you end up with highs and lows. But fortunately, I have this kit. I like this better. I had to get this online, but it's the right size she wants. So again, you lay this down in your mortar, you put your tile on either side, and then you have wedges that you use. So you put these wedges in, tap them in with a rubber mallet, and then that actually tightens that up. So, much nicer product. So we'll start with this back wall, and we're going to start figuring out from top to bottom what our size is, what our layout will be, and if we need, I usually like personally to cut the tiles so that you don't have a little sliver left over. You know, it kind of looks ugly that way. Now we're gonna have a pattern in here too, so I got to figure that out too. But we're gonna see how it lays out. I may have to cut the bottom course and the top course so that they are even, and that looks so much better. And then I'll try to find a center line, and I'll work our center line and see if left to right it works so that our cuts are okay left and right. So a lot of tinkering around in math, but we'll figure this out and start laying that back wall. All right, to get my layout, I measured my top and bottom. We were at 70.5 inches, and then we're going to put this border trim right there, right in the middle of that niche. So when I figured it up, if I come down, this is 33.5 inches is where I want to be there, and the cat's helping. You being very helpful? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's all cats with us. So anyway, when I measure down, that leaves my bottom piece at like 9 3/4. And when I measured up my 70.5 inches, I come almost the same. We're like at maybe 9.5 or something. We're close enough where it'll look nice and even. So, and that's about 4 inches, which is what I need in the center of that niche. So that should all work out and lay out pretty good. And I already checked my sides from left to right. And if I start right in the center and I work over from my split, but I can take the cutoffs from those and put them on the next row. You'll see as we start laying out, and that'll give us a nice brick pattern with the least amount of waste. So let's get started. We got Josiah's maiden cut over here. You helping? All right. So I set the laser up over here, so I'll have a center line up my wall. Makes it a little bit easier. And then we cut this at the 9 3/4 that we want. It should line everything up. I'll put the cut edge down against the tub area, and I'll put spacers under it. But yes, before everybody says, oh my goodness, he's used duct tape and he's got duct tape on the tub. Yeah, I know. We couldn't find any painter's tape. Apparently we left them at the farmhouse. And Cheryl had this, and she goes, don't worry about it, I've got Gooby Gone. So if it gets any sticky stuff on the tub, she said she's okay with that. So you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. That'll probably be my next sticker. Gotta do what you gotta do. And oh man, I tell you what, you bump that laser just a little bit, and you don't take much. There we go. So as long as nobody messes with the laser, we'll be all right. And we'll get a couple tiles cut, start setting. Got us good. Most important, bucket and a sponge.
getting your consistency right. You want to try to stay somewhat neat and clean, but an interesting way of keeping your, one kid who was working for me showed me that. Stick your trowel right on the side of the bucket. Put your other one that way, you carry it in and out, clean them, do whatever you got to do. Try to keep your edges of your bucket as clean as you can so you don't make a big old mess and get it all over the tub. And that's about it. So another thing I keep besides cleaning my hands, but I keep this here with the sponges. If I need a little bit of water in my mortar, which I just put some in there, you can squeeze a little bit in and control it. But there you go. If it takes a few minutes to cut a piece of tile and it's very dry in the house, this stuff will set up on you some. You can just put a little water in it and keep it stirred up. But at the bottom, that mixer's not the best in the world. It's pretty much had it, but even a brand new one, it'll leave you some dry and clumps at the bottom. So I added some water. I'll mix it up some more. That's why I keep the trowel. And yeah, see how it gets clumpy. So gotta have that water bucket, man. When I first started doing tile, I didn't back butter. And I was like, found out that you pretty much have to back butter. You should do that, especially if you're using these kind of wedges that we're using. Because it tends to want, then you put the wedge in, it tends to want to pull the tile a little bit off the wall just to get them leveled off. So you gotta have enough thin set on both sides to really get it to stick. And if you have any hollow spots, you can crack a tile, especially on a floor. So you're pretty much just better off taking extra time and doing the back butter. These, put these in the corners. And I'm gonna start with the center. Find my cut. Hey Josiah, your cut's so good I can't tell it from factory. Anything like that? Pretty good. All right. I also kind of cleaned up my edges a little bit with around here, so I'm not oozing a whole bunch of stuff out and making a big old mess. So now I got to get out of my own way so I can get to that center one. And then we'll put these in here. Try to remember. Okay, these are the wedges ones. So you can probably split that like that. Okay, and I'll probably put one in here and one over here. And then I'm going to put little spacers underneath that tile just to get it in, so we have a place to put grout. So I'll have to wiggle this guy up a little bit. I usually have a really, really dull wore out screwdriver and it's in the truck. Of course. There we go. Alright, that looks pretty good. Looks pretty level across our top line. We got our gap about right there. And so we need to get the next piece of tile, back butter that. See which side's our cut line. This is, so that'll go like that. This is only a 54-inch tub. So on the walls we got 52.5 inches across. So it's not as much room as a normal tub to work. I like usually keeping my bucket in front of me like that, but I'm getting a little bit of a challenge on this one. We wouldn't have it any other way at Cheryl's. Ah, she heard me laugh. Love a customer with a sense of humor. She's still laughing. So we will work for humor and for food. Well, you're working for me, right, Josiah?
That's right.
It's not the money.
Exactly.
But the fringe benefits are really good. Hopefully a boss that's nice to you. I hope. Try to be.
It's not too bad.
Oh, okay. We'll go for not too bad. I'll take that. This time I'm putting these in first. I haven't tiled in a while. Probably been a good 6 months easily. It's funny how you get, see that's the thing, you know, look at that gap. It's not exactly level. I mean, it's close, but you know, you get, that's why I like to use these shims. Now let's see, if I'm not mistaken, we said that this ceiling, yeah, that's more up there than over here.
Correct.
So okay, so that's probably why this is off just a little bit too. The tub might be off just a hair, but I know the ceiling of this house, Joyce's are off.
Everything was off.
Yeah, unfortunately. Although, I really need to lower this one just a little bit to get that gap straight. How's that look? Can't tell with the laser, huh?
No, it looks pretty good though.
Yeah. Okay. Now we'll bed that in this one in. Feels good. No dead spots behind it or anything like that. We'll get some more.
Sorry for your wet.
Oh, thanks. I got the water bucket too to rinse my hands off. That's one of the reasons I keep that there. Put one of these guys in and one here and well, I kind of like that better because these are pretty long tiles. So I think that'll work. All right. Now we got to cut our sides and then we can start moving on up. Okay, so first things first, don't complain about not having Curdy or a membrane on here. We are in a basement that has got a concrete floor. It's cement boarded. She didn't want to spend the extra money, and it really isn't a whole lot necessary for this. Anyhow, so I've got my back piece first. We cut all our sides, cut the top and bottom in place first. You definitely have to back butter joint or thin set on both sides, or it won't stick. And then got our sides, and you just keep shimming around and playing with it. We're sticking them out past so that we can put our detail right in here. And what's nice is because this is a little bit sticking out and this tile's thinner, it makes us all line up on a nice plane. So this is working out pretty well. You did miss this cut. I can't show you everything. Got to save some of my tricks for myself.
No. I won't let you eat if you do that.
Oh, okay. So for one more trick, guys always say, what's with this screwdriver? Let's throw that away. That thing's a piece of junk. No, that is great for cleaning out your grout lines, especially before when you're going to grout. So cleaning the thin set out now, but if you left a piece like this before you grout, even when it dries, you can just scrape it out. Just gotta watch not to chip the tile, but that works really slick. And now these wedges. These wedges here. Show you how these work. So you got this little tool here. And it straddles it at the bottom. You just squeeze it. And makes it all nice and the same size. I love these. I had to get these on online. I forget where now. I thought it was through Amazon, but I've had them for a little while. Haven't had to buy any. Well, we're probably going to set you guys up on time lapse. We did get started over here. We put a little piece of cement board. And a piece of cement board down there. That's only like 1.5 inches, so we had to pre-drill it so we didn't split it. So we got that piece of tile cut. And we're letting this cure a little bit right here because last time when we did this one, this stuff started to sag, even though I have a lot of these little wedges in there. So we're just going to like let that set up while we move over to this side and start working our way up. We got our hole obviously cut for our plumbing, and I measured everything for where these brackets go so that I know where I can replace them at. As we go up, I'll drill this out through the tile and get the brackets on there, and then this should go along pretty good. And I got this trim for here. We're just going to hang it over just a little bit so that we'll get the lay in here with one hand, and that should come out pretty nicely. That's probably good enough. We don't have any of that showing. It's all going underneath the mixer, so yeah, I could dress that up a little better if I really needed to, if it was showing. But at any rate, for what it's worth, that's my trick to doing it.
then she comes running over. It's like, okay, I'm eating. Wrong. Five of the clean wrong.
Nope, it's more than. Ta-da! Got her done. Had to send Cheryl out to the store, get more tile, or replace the broken ones. And we would have been one tile short, so I told her to grab one more piece of tile. So I'm glad she went. Had a notch around those. That one come out a little better, but once we caulk everything in, I caulked my corners and I'll caulk along the ceiling and around this board, and she's gonna paint the ceiling in that board, and then, you know, all in this ceiling we got that sticky square, they're like plastic or something like that that go on there. They got a design to them, but anyway, that made it easy for making the access for the water for that shower tower. And I got my other bracket marked up there with some Sharpie marks, so I got to drill those. I started drilling that one, but as I was drilling it was pushing the tile in and mushing out all the mortar, so we just figured we were gonna stop. But once it's grouted, it'll look pretty good. So I'm glad we got that done. Next time we're gonna get this all grouted, cleaned up, and we'll be able to stick the toilet in and put this piece of cabinet back in and get the sink bowl put in and lights and the window. I mean, all that stuff should go way a lot faster than this part. Between this busting this concrete up and doing this tile, it slowed our project down 1 day a week. It would have been done, but it's coming along.